Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am your host, the #1 hairbag, Rexxx Ruger. That's right, I'm your bastard of ceremonies. You can also refer to me as, very soon, David Lee Roth Jr. That's right, I am the son of glam, the front man for the band. Just smoked a few grams, always going out with a bang. Got 1 million fans, shazam. Wop, baba, bop, wop, bam, bam. Turn on the mic so everybody out there can hear me tonight, because we got a good one for you tonight. That's right. The king of glam. So cool, but yet it's about to get so hot in here. That is for sure. Because the guest that we got coming in tonight is going to bring it, man. And again, I hate to use the word legend, but that's what we got coming in here. And this guy, no mas. It's not a guy you want to contend with. Let me give you a little hint. I don't know if the folks can hear this. Maybe not. There's just a little hint out there for you kids out there in internet land. Yep. Feeling like it's about to get a little hot in here because this guy is certainly somebody that brings the heat, so to speak. A little play on words, not to give away too much. But this is definitely a guy that's going to turn it up. While we're waiting for him to come in, I can tell you about some of my various projects that I'm working on, as I am the hardest working man in show business. Working up and down the Eastern Seaboard, fronting numerous glam bands and always looking for new members. You can catch me in the Sticky Thighs. I think we're playing somewhere this weekend. Come on the Rug. Told you we got a new album coming out. Of course, Meat Whistler's Delight by my main band, the Jizz Drops. I mean, just a plethora of projects. You could find me everywhere if you're looking for me. And who wouldn't be looking for me, right? Come on. Woo! I sashay. I move like the man himself. And everybody out there knows who the man himself is, right? That is Diamond David Lee Roth. The one, the only. I got to cite getting my moves from somewhere. Trying to get our guest in here. You guys are going to be thoroughly amazed because I pulled a good one for you guys. Yep, take my bows now. You're welcome. It is going to be worth the wait. This is not a guy that has a lot of chin wax with a lot of people. Although he is a nice guy. I mean, certainly a friend of the show. If you're willing to jump into the pod scum. Because we do dive into the deepest and the murkiest. But we laugh every step of the way. You know? I'm a pussycat. And as always, I'm coming to you from the Pink Pussycat Lounge. The den of sin. Oh, if these walls could talk. Wow. The stories they could tell. But I digress. Because we may have young ones watching. And that wouldn't be good. You don't want to upset the kids, not the children. So we're just waiting for the man to come in. And he will be in here. He's a man of his word, a man of principle. And that's what I like. That's what I look for in a guest. And so much interesting shit to talk to him about, man. I mean, this is a guy that's lived a life. I mean, and hopefully we'll be able to dig into some of that. Did not always have it easy from what I understand. And ended up achieving a lot. And you know what? I don't even think this will be a big departure for him. He's used to looking at long-haired, blonde, beautiful guys. So I imagine this won't be a struggle for him at all. Very gracious to be joining us, though. I'm super happy that he is. He doesn't do a lot of these. Has one of his own, I believe, but does not do a lot of them, I don't believe. But certainly a legend in my mind, and certainly a legend in the minds of anybody who watched who watched wrestling back in the day. I mean, he certainly is somebody who made a huge name for himself, and especially if you remember WCW, a little company called WCW that used to compete pretty fiercely on Monday nights with Vince McMahon's product there in the WWE, the big Monday Night Wars. And he can probably tell us a lot of stories about those times, the big Monday Night Wars, because they were pretty epic. A lot of shit went down back then, man. A lot of shit went down. It was a crazy time in wrestling. So obviously I've given my guest away right now, but we're going to give him the big build up, the big drum roll, you know, give him his flowers. This guy certainly earned it. He's earned it every step of the way. I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, I'm sure he's going to have some great stories, some war stories, maybe a few horror stories. Horror or horror? Which one would I rather hear? Well, hey, if there's been horrors along the way, that'd be cool too. I mean, I can't believe that there isn't a nice section of the female population that loves them some wrestlers. Give me one of them big old beefy boys. Yeah, yeah. Let me sink my teeth, or my lack of teeth, into that. That's not a slight against you wrestling fans out there. Cool your jets. Cool your jets. Cool your jets. I'm not saying that every wrestling fan suffers from meth mouth. I'm not saying that at all. Be nice, wrestling fans. Let's play nice. I'm a fan too. I'm a fan first and foremost. If not, I wouldn't have a guy like this on, you know? I feel like this is a fan's fan interview right here. This is the kind of guy that you don't see pop up and do a lot of these. This is a guy that that many could say was a quiet superstar, you know, flew under the radar, but definitely every bit a superstar, I believe. I mean, I don't see how you couldn't call him one. Got my beautiful Stein here. Well, and look at that. Here's our guest right now. Let's get him on in here. Let's see. He made me wait, so I won't give him a whooping yet. Just kidding. Just kidding, Stevie Ray, if you can hear me. I don't want you to hear me. Where is he? Where is he? We'll get him in here. Where is he? All we see is the S for Superman. Where are you, Stevie Ray, my brother? There he is. There he is in the flesh right there. Looking strong as ever. How are you, sir? I can't hear you. That might be on my end.
No, it was on my end.
Oh, there you go. 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 It's so good to see you. So good to see you.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
So obviously, I can hear my voice back. I can hear my voice back on your end a lot.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about
better?
Now?
Better. That's better. That's better. A little bit. I can still hear it pretty loud. I can still hear it pretty loud. You got some excellent. You got some excellent microphones. Yeah.
Bluetooth pairing.
Stevie Ray's got the high tech stuff. You let me know, champ. Yeah. That sounds good, champ. Yeah, that sounds good. Stevie Ray, WCW superstar, 10-time tag team champion, a legend in my mind, as I was watching wrestling big time and loved the WCW product back then. I mean, for me, it was winning the Monday Night Wars every Monday night. I loved it so much more than the Raw product. I mean, but let's go back to you. Let's go back to your upbringing, though. You grew up in Houston. what was the game plan when you were young? It couldn't have been wrestling.
No, my game plan was just, hey man, I played every sport, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my
That's all right.
earphone
That's all
deals
right.
out of the way.
That's all right.
Yeah, can you hear me okay now?
What was the big plan for Stevie Ray growing up then? Like, what were your first dreams of? They weren't wrestling.
Frankly, I just wanted to get an education, man.
Yeah.
You know, sports to me was just something to do, something I was just good at, you know.
Right.
And
right,
you know,
right.
You think sports is might take you somewhere, but you're not sure. But you just play sports because that was just something to do. That's what everybody did, you know.
Right.
So
right.
frankly, the only thing I really cared about was education. Actually, that was about it.
So who was it? So who or what was it that was the impetus for getting you into wrestling? Where did that come from?
Same thing, same mentality. Just want to try it. I just want to try it and see if I could be good at it.
Did somebody discover you somewhere or see you somewhere and approach you about wrestling?
No, I remember Ivan Putski used to work at the same gym that me and my brother worked out at.
Oh,
and he was like, hey, man, I'm going to be opening up. Power. Yeah, he was like, I'm going to be opening up a wrestling school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so did you and your brother get into it at the same time, or did you get into it before he did?
No, we got to the same time. I told him, Ivan, and I was like, he's opened up a wrestling school, you know, because, you know, when we were kids, you know, we went to karate school, boxing school. So, you know, this was just something else let's try it out. We never thought about being what we became or anything like that. It was just something to do, you know. I was like bodybuilding at the time. So I was always in the gym. So was my brother, you know, he was starting to work out a lot
we
too.
We can tell.
So, you know, and that's one thing, you know, it was just a twist of fate type deal, you know.
So you guys had an incredible
inspirations of being Go ahead.
You guys had an incredible run in WCW, which when WCW and the company starts to dissolve, your brother goes on to WWE and has a very successful solo career, but you kind of peel back and don't make the journey over to WWE with them. What was stopping you from going to WWE? Was it a personal choice or a business decision?
Well, I didn't want to be on the road anymore.
Right.
300 days a year anymore.
Yeah. I hear you there.
So I didn't want to go to and I knew that Vince McMahon would probably turn us into caricatures as to how they see African-American wrestlers, and I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
So I just started going back and forth overseas and for like 3.5 years, and I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, so you started doing the wrestling over in other countries?
Yeah.
And are you still doing that? Are you still competing actively? No. So when WCW starts to get to the end, well, it had a nice surge there when the NWO came in. First of all, you were there right in the thick of that when when the whole groundswell started to happen. What did you think of the whole NWO idea when it was when you first heard about it? Did you like what it did for the company?
You know what? To be honest, I'm not going to be one of these guys that come on your show and tell, you know, bullshit about what they thought. Man, I just go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it did help the company, though.
What I'm saying is this. In retrospect and in hindsight, yes. Right. But when I'm wrestling in a company or any job, well, I'm not thinking about things like that.
Right.
What it does for the company or what it did, how it looked this way. Brother, I just go to work.
Right.
I'm talented. I do. Yeah. I'm just like Jack Tripper on Three's Company.
Right.
Hey, we getting rid of one of the girls. Okay, what the fuck that got to do with me?
Yeah.
You know, I got to get my paper and get on down the road. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was that involved in what it was doing and all this other kind of stuff, man. I just went to work.
You were just
whatever
a guy.
It went to.
You were just a guy showing up and wrestling who you were supposed to wrestle on the card that night.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste my time trying to psychoanalyze what these other people are in charge to do. That's just like a football player psychoanalyzing what the coaches, the 12, 15 coaches get together and come up with a game plan. That's not your job. You get paid to go out there and block, tackle, hit,
right.
throw the ball, catch the ball, this, that, and the other.
Keep it basic. Yeah, keep it basic.
I've been in sports all my life,
yeah.
and I pretty much attack sports the same way I attack anything else.
Right, right.
If
so
I'm
what
in
did you
charge,
think?
Go ahead.
So what did you think when the company? What did you think when the company eventually did start to dissolve, though? And what do you think kind of caused it to dissolve?
I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
I knew it was coming.
I
knew it was coming. So it didn't surprise me at all. I was surprised it lasted as long as it did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It seemed like it was a wild ride while it was going on.
I'm the one who went to Vince Russo. Vince and I do a podcast together now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I talked to Vince about doing an angle. I'm the one that wrote the whole angle with me and my brother.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
When we broke up.
Yeah.
I'm the one that put that whole thing together. Nobody knows that because I wanted my brother, because I really didn't. I knew what was coming, or I was anticipating what was coming.
Right.
And I thought my brother could be as good as a singles wrestler as anybody in the company. So I didn't want to hold him back. Right. And I was tired of doing the Harlem Heat thing anyway. You know, once Sherry, I really don't want to do it anymore anyway. So I was
losing you a little bit, champ.
Preparing. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on.
That's all right. We're just losing. Yeah, that's all right. We're just losing you. That's all right.
I was preparing. Yeah, I was preparing for WCW close, and I was prepared to go on to other things. So that's why I came up with the angle, and Vince listened to me, and he liked it, and that's why he started writing my brother in as a singles wrestler and became the heavyweight champion. I'm the one who went to Vince to do that.
Now, you guys get into the Hall of Fame in 2019. Is that a big deal? Is that a huge honor? Or is it just kind of just another accolade? Yeah, it's a big honor.
No, it was, especially when you're not thinking about it.
Yeah, right.
You know, when you're not thinking about it, it comes out of nowhere. And I'm like, wow. You know. Yeah. So, that's what made it a big deal for me.
Now, having such a long career that you did, obviously, I don't think anybody gets out of your sport unscathed. How has your health been over the years? Have you battled a lot of injuries over the course of your career?
No,
you look pretty good.
I took care of myself.
Yeah,
so I appreciate that. I've always taken care of myself, man. I'm not one of these guys that you're going to see out here partying all night, doing all kind of different substances and stuff like that. Like I said, I love professional wrestling, but I never really cared for the business very much.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. I can kind of see how it could kind of be. It can be a little daunting being part of the business.
You can get caught up in so many different things. The wrestling business is just like any other form of entertainment.
Right. What do you think about? And this is no secret, obviously. It's it's public information that a lot of wrestlers obviously have passed away at very young ages. Is it just the stuff that they put their bodies through? Is it the stuff that they put in their bodies? A lot of wrestlers. I mean, is it that daunting of a lifestyle where if you don't do the right things, it's going to take you out early?
Well, a lot of guys that you're referring to, it's very, very unfortunate. But like I said, the professional wrestling business is just like any other. I don't know why when people see the word wrestling, they think something special. It's not special. It's not special. People hear that word and think, oh, it's something out of the ordinary. If you look at people in all the way across the board in the entertainment business, you see the exact same things. The only thing different is what the word is on the marquee. Right. That's the only difference. So when you ask me a question like that, these people are no different from anybody else that get caught up in the entertainment business.
Demons
it can be very, very harsh to you if you treat it the wrong way.
So that's the temptations and all the temptations are there for everybody. It's just how you respond to them.
When you get in the entertainment business, I don't care if you're singing, I don't care if you're rapping, I don't care if you're acting, I don't care if you're the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus. It's still the entertainment business. And it's a different world when your job is predicated on entertaining people on a nightly basis.
Yeah, yeah, you can say that again. Yeah, well, you did it better than most. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's just the fact that I never brought my job home with me.
Yeah, yeah, you have to have that separation. That's healthy. That's healthy.
Yes, it's because I'm like the forefathers. You separate church.
Yeah, yeah.
From politics.
I agree with you 100%, my friend. I agree with you. Now, when you look back at your time in the business, have you forged a lot of solid? You said you do a podcast with Vince Russo, who's obviously a guy that is in the business. Have you forged a lot of friendships? It seems like a big giant brotherhood. Have you kept in contact with a lot of the guys who you worked with?
Not really. I mean,
No?
I see a lot of the guys at excuse me a second. You know, like there's some of the shows and things of that nature and the different conventions and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I mean, I was really good friends with people when I saw them, but I got the same friends I've had for the last 30 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And 99% of them are not professional wrestlers.
Right, right, yeah. Now, your upbringing in Houston, I saw not that long ago an appearance on a talk show that your brother did where he credited you with more or less saving his life. What does he mean when he says that? Was he going down a road that you rescued him from? Because it seemed to touch him very personally, and I thought that was just a mind-blowing thing for him to say and to give you so much credit. How did you change the course of his life, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I didn't see the interview, so I don't know how to expound on something that I didn't see. But my brother, you know, just like any older brother looking out for his younger brother.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Bigger brothers do,
and being there for certain trials and tribulations that he may step into, you know.
Right.
So I didn't see the NFL, so I really can't expound on it the way you're asking.
But did you guys have a rough upbringing? And was there a point in time where
no, we had a normal upbringing.
You had a nice upbringing?
We had a normal upbringing.
Yeah.
Normal.
Would you say that what I just want to ask you there. Would you say that to this day your relationship with your brother is still very good? You still see him a lot? Talk to him a lot?
I don't really see a lot of my family members a lot. You know, we might talk more than we see each other.
Yeah, yeah. When you look back on, and you probably get asked this a lot, but are there any matches when you look back in your career that really stand out where you felt like, you were more entertaining or put on a better show than normal? Do any matches stand out in your mind? I mean, I thought you guys were always great. I mean, one of the great tag teams of all time, not the 10-time tag team champs for no reason.
A couple of matches, man.
Any guys you like working with?
We had so many matches with some of the same people so many times.
Yeah.
It's hard to like drill them down. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the best matches that we had with people was probably not on television.
Oh, dark matches. Yeah.
Shows where we really could do things out of the ordinary and things like that. But
hold on, we're losing you again there a little bit. Hold on, we're losing you a little bit.
Yeah,
your video is just freezing up a little bit there.
Yeah, you're going out on my end also. I don't know why.
Am I?
Yeah. Hold on, let me see something.
Gotta love the internet, right?
Nope. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch over to my Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And see if that helps.
Look at this guy. He knows. That's a professional podcaster right there, ladies and gentlemen. Right there. That's a guy that just sees a problem and knows how to fix it. I'm pretty computer illiterate. I'm fairly new to the podcasting thing. And
so
I feel like
I
feel like a 49-year-old guy on a computer, which is what I am. You know, I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah, so am I. You know, if it wasn't for my daughter, I fall off the cliff every day. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. So what was it like when you
but
were being
like
trained by the, what was it like when you were being trained by the Polish Hammer? Was there any time that you thought about?
Actually, Ivan Putski had nothing to do with training us.
Oh, he
Actually,
didn't
it
actually
was
train
Scott
you.
Casey.
Oh,
No,
okay.
Ivan Putski know nothing about training anybody. I mean, what did he do? Actually stomp and punch and pose, man. That was his whole career, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing against him, but I'm just saying, no, we were trained by Scott Casey.
Okay. Shout out to
Yeah.
Scott Casey then. That's probably a guy that's
Yeah,
not getting the
Scott.
recognition, right? Putski
Yeah,
gets the
Scott Casey.
recognition.
Well, no, we always tell people when people ask us who we train by, like the question that you asked earlier, how did I get in the wrestling business? And I was just explaining to you how I got in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
You just assumed I was trained by Ivan Putski. You know, you just assumed that.
He's
So
giving me that. He's giving me that look like he's ready to get back into action. I don't know.
No. I'm just saying, you know, I when I communicate directly. When you ask me a direct question, I'm going to answer a direct question.
Well,
but
and of
now
course,
you're asking me a different question. You ask me who trained me.
I'm being guilty. I'm being guilty of believing when I read on the internet. See, I go to your Wikipedia page and it says trained by. So Putski's out there stealing all the credit, but we got to give the real credit to Scott Casey.
A lot of, you know, it's a lot of stuff on Wikipedia that's 100% wrong when it comes to me and my brother.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what Wikipedia was, and people would come up to me and ask me different things about. This was years ago though. But I read this on Wikipedia. You know, they said your birthday was blah blah blah. I'm like, that's not my birthday. Where'd you get that at? And they said, oh, it was on Wikipedia. And I'm like, what the hell is that?
Well, the scary thing is anybody could go in and edit it too. You know, anybody kind of can have access to it and go in there, play with it.
I don't know. People will come up to me and ask me my given name, and I'm like, no, that's not my given name.
Yeah.
Well, I read it on the internet. It
gotta be true, right?
Well, I read it on Wikipedia. So finally, I went and looked up Wikipedia, and I'm like, where the fuck did this stuff come from?
We got to go around and find all of them and do the finisher. What was Harlem Heat's finisher?
I don't even care, man. It's a waste of time and effort.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Can't go after every critic out there.
No, I'm just saying.
Let me ask you what you think right now about Vince being competed with AEW. Do you like AEW's product? What you've seen of it so far?
Yeah, I do. But like I was telling some people on my own podcast the other night, or was it last week? I can't remember. What I try to explain to people is this. Pro wrestling is not pro wrestling anymore. Pro wrestling is not even sports entertainment anymore. Pro wrestling is entertainment, period.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I do. I agree with you.
So when you say competing against, pro wrestling organizations used to compete against each other. They don't now. You know what they're competing against now? They're competing against CSI.
Right. Yeah.
They're competing against the FBI. They're competing against all these shows on television because they have become mainstream, which in essence mean pop culture.
Right.
And once you become pop culture.
So do you like to see a wrestling product that has a little more edge? You know, like when Vince went like kind of, lean very kid friendly. Do you like that? Or do you like when they do something like the Attitude Era? Do you think because it's wrestling, it needs a little bit of bite?
I think wrestling changes with the time, just like everything else. I'm not one to sit and bloviate about things when they change. I accept change on every level of life. So I don't look at professional wrestling like, oh, back in my day, we did this. I don't even make statements like that.
Yeah. You just
I really could care less. I'm a person that evolves with time also. So whatever product is out there, I try to maneuver my mind to accept it for what it is. Instead of going through this trial and tribulations of comparing this, that, and the other. That's a waste of time.
Right.
I was a couple years old when John F. Kennedy, I was like 3 years old, when John F. Kennedy, 4 maybe, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Since then, I remember my mother crying.
Yeah.
I was a kid, I wasn't even in school, and I remember my mother crying. So since when I became of age where I could read, go back and look at history and stuff like that, I became a big proponent of John F. Kennedy and what he stood for.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not going to sit here today and go, I wish more politicians were like John F. Kennedy. He can't be.
Right.
They can't be.
Right. Yeah.
Because corporations hadn't taken over politics like they have today.
Times have changed too much. Yeah.
So you can't be a guy like it was yesterday. You just can't do that unless somebody is trying to sell that kind of product as it pertains to professional wrestling. Like AEW is trying to do that, but believe it or not, they're corporate people also.
Right.
They're just giving a different looking product. At the end of the day, it's the same thing.
Well, so you speak about a corporate product. When bigger names start coming into the WCW, and I know that you view yourself as just an employee coming there, but when the company starts getting a little top heavy and the Hulk Hogans and those guys start to come in, like how are you negotiating your salary and getting what you want contract wise? Because I've definitely heard guys have grumbled about it, you know, in their little rants that they do online. And you know, how did you feel like you were treated? Do you feel like you were always getting the fairest wage when you were there?
Yes.
So you felt you were dealt with pretty fairly then?
Right.
Did you think that there were other guys there who were not, or did you just pay attention?
I could care less.
So you were just you were just happy getting yours. Yeah.
No,
you think when you see a lot of guys,
I could care less about what other people think. I could care less about what other people went through. It's got nothing to do with me.
Is pro wrestling
nothing to do with me?
Is pro wrestling taking care of the guys after their careers good enough? I know sometimes like they'll fund like trips to rehab or hospitalizations.
I've never had to go to rehab. I've never been injured where I needed surgery.
Yeah.
Maybe I did need it, but I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So whatever other guys went through this, that, and the other, I knew what I was getting into before I got into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my whole career, I was preparing to get out of this.
Right. So what is life been like?
This stuff, professional wrestling doesn't owe me anything.
Right. No, you've given us. You've given to us, my friend. You've given to us.
Right. So I got, so I don't look back and go, they should be doing this, they should be doing that. Maybe they should be. But it's nothing I can do about that but prepare yourself for your latter years.
Right.
I wanted to make sure I had a retirement saved up. I wanted to make sure my daughter had college fund. I wanted to make sure my daughter had trust fund. Those were the things that was essential to me being into professional wrestling. All the other boo-ha-ha, brother, I'm not the guy to talk to about that. I'm not the guy.
What's life been like after wrestling for you? What kind of endeavors are you currently into other than the podcast? What kind of stuff are you doing to keep busy these days after wrestling?
Well, actually, I'm retired actually.
Yeah.
I just do what I want to do now. I had a detail shop that I sold after about 5 years. I made good money on it. And then I had a trucking company that I sold all my stuff to. And I just relax now, and I still do appearances. I do a lot of speaking appearances and stuff like that.
Yep.
And for some reason, people like to hear me talk. I don't know why, but people like to hear me talk. And
first of all, Stevie Ray, who's going to tell you to be quiet? That's what I want to know. Who in the room is going to tell you to be quiet?
Well, I've been doing radio, and then I started doing podcasting.
Yeah.
And like I said, I do speaking engagements and stuff like that. And I still go out and do conventions and stuff like that when I feel like it. I really don't like to do a lot of them.
Yeah.
And, I just made it for myself. I'm going to try to reinvent myself and do some things I like doing. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm working with Houston Community College. I'm starting a project with them next month that I wrote a symposium that I wrote almost 4 years ago. And because of COVID, it got put back, and we're starting it up. We're starting it up next month. And I'm pretty excited about that. A curriculum that I'm doing with a bunch of kids at Houston Community College.
Okay, that's great. So you're all about giving back for sure, and all about the kids. And I know your brothers always shared that same sentiment too. You guys are really big on trying to help kids.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't keep them on the straight and narrow, then what the hell do we have, right? I mean,
Well, really and truly, man, I think everything is about education.
Yeah.
If you got education to give back and wisdom to give back to people, that's how it should be.
Yeah. Yep.
I just believe in that. And the elders should always take care of the ones that's coming up. That's
Agreed.
how it should be in anything, any population, any country, any whatever. That's just what I believe in.
I agree with you,
and
my friend.
that's how it was when my brother and I were kids. So I still remember that, and I live by it today.
Are you a fan right now of any of the current wrestling factions? Do you sit down? Does Stevie Ray ever sit down and watch wrestling?
Yeah, I'll be watching it tonight.
Do you watch the WWE product and the AEW product, or one or the other?
I'll watch them both. Yeah.
Are there any guys?
Not religiously, but I still like to see professional wrestling, man. I'll always be a fan of professional wrestling. That's why I don't critique it like lots of other people do. Yeah. I just want to watch. I just want to watch and see what they're doing.
Are there guys or divas, anybody who stands out when you're watching that you'll stop the remote and say, "Oh, I like watching this guy or girl"? Anybody that stands out?
It's so many of them, man. It's so many. It's too many to even name, man.
There's a lot of high flyers though now. Does wrestling seem like it's more dangerous? Does it seem like guys are going for more dangerous high spots than ever?
That's no doubt. That's no doubt. That's no doubt. That's what a lot of these kids have come up watching. So they like to take it to that level. And you're talking about injuries. That's why these guys are hurt all the time, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't do a lot of high impact stuff and think you're not going to be hurt. You just can't.
Yeah. Are you guys, and I know you're a very humble guy, very understated, but I got to ask you though, I mean, you've got to consider yourself you and your brother, if not one of the greatest tag teams in history of wrestling. I mean, you would agree with that statement, right?
Yes.
Well, thank God. I'd like to hear somebody that's great at what they do and will actually say, I was great at what I did. What's the point of being great at it if you can't acknowledge that you were great at it, right? I mean.
Well, what we were, I think the word great is thrown around loosely.
Yeah.
And why that is, I don't know. I think too many people watch ESPN and Fox Sports and all this kind of shit, and they just throw this word around like it's like anybody can be great. Greatness is subjective. Yeah. And greatness is more than one way to be great. That is why I have these arguments on my podcast, Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray. When people bring up greatness, who's greater than, is LeBron James greater than Michael Jordan? Is Peyton Manning greater than Tom Brady? This, that, and the other. But that's subjective.
It is very subjective.
People go, so when you look, it's more than one way to be great. Greatness, a lot of people like to bring it down to, I got more championships than you, so I'm greater than you. In a team sport, that can't be true.
Yeah.
That might be true. That might be true in track and field.
Everybody's important. Yeah.
That might be true in track and field because your success is based on so many other people.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's true. Those quarterbacks don't even get those passes off if not for those big guys in front of them. Those big guys never get enough love, do they?
That's what I'm saying. And you're playing under different rules than I played in.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
So many things come into play. So going back to Harlem Heat, what we prided ourselves on was not being like no other tag team to ever wrestle before.
Yeah.
That is what we prided ourselves. We didn't want to talk like anybody else. We didn't want to dress like anybody else. We didn't want our persona when we walked out the curtain to be like anybody else. And we wanted to work like the Midnight Express, the Road Warriors, and several other teams all at the same time.
Right.
So we pick and choose little things and we would implement it into what we did. So everything was contrived and thought up for us by us.
Right.
Not the office.
You guys were
us by us.
You guys were your own creative.
Right. So that is where we really, really are proud of. That's so what we look at ourselves and go, we did it, man.
So what about the choice of
what we want to do?
How about the choice of taking like a manager though, or having a valet walk you out? Is that a choice you guys make, or does the company? I've always wondered how that worked. Like for a while, you had Sherry walking you guys out, or
actually, this is the story behind that. They wanted to put a manager with me and my brother.
Yeah.
And they brought in several people and auditioned them. And me and my brother was actually upset about it. We were actually upset about it because this is what I'm talking about. When people, from a creative standpoint, as it pertains to African Americans, the only thing they know about African Americans is what they've already seen in professional wrestling.
Right.
Do that make sense?
Right.
As far as the African American plight, 40 million strong, you don't give a damn about no more than what you've seen on television.
Right.
So with the wisdom of me and my brother, we know this already.
Right.
We already know this. So we already know what you want to do to make yourself comfortable.
Right.
So that's why we wasn't going to do it.
Right.
They wanted to put us with a manager. Okay, we know we're going to get the titles. We were going to tell the office, no, we don't want a manager.
Yeah.
And if you got a problem with that, you can fire us. Yeah. Because we know we have put in the wrench time to go somewhere else.
Right.
So we knew our cachet at that time. Right. So we was at a TV taping one day, I think in Gainesville or one of those little towns we used to tape in around Atlanta. And we saw Sherry sitting on the apron. It was early in the afternoon. And, we would always speak to her, stuff like that. Right. Never had real conversation with her, but we always spoke to everybody. And we was like, hey, Sherry, what's going on? And she was like, I think she was doing a project with Hogan and Savage at the time. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. Okay. And she was like, I heard you guys was looking for a manager. They're gonna try to get a manager for you guys. Me and my brother was like, well, they can try, but we ain't going for it. And we told her that we're not going for it. Yeah. And she was like, well, what if I was your manager? And me and my brother looked at each other like, yeah, are you kidding? Yeah. And she was like, no, I'm serious.
That worked for you.
And then we were like, don't mess with us like this. And she was like, no, I'm serious. I was like, man, that would work. Yeah. And she was like, okay. It did work. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna mention it to whoever, Eric or so and so. And then they came back and asked us, what did you guys think about Sherry being your manager? And I guess they didn't know we had already talked. Yeah. You already had this smoothed out already. Yeah. And we were like, yeah, we like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then they was like, okay, well, this is how we're gonna do it. And that's how the whole program got written up. That we would come out and we would have a phone with us like we talking to somebody. Yeah. And it was a fake phone and stuff like that. Right. But the people, the way it was written up, the people didn't know. They just thought it was going to be somebody that that been managing or something like that or whatever. Right. And it worked though. It worked. And we would always say, that's the secret. Yeah. We would never say man, woman, child. We go, that's the secret on the phone. You know what I'm saying? And we were doing a pay-per-view with the Nasty Boys. We were doing a pay-per-view with them. And they showed a picture of Sherry talking on the phone in the back. And they were like, that completed the image. Yeah. Oh my God. It's Sherry, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they got to play it all up. Secret. Yeah. Oh man, I still remember that, man. I don't remember a lot of stuff.
Then you have the announcers, and then you have the announcers at home really playing it up for us too. You know what I mean? Like really selling it for us. Right. I don't think anybody. I used to love the way JR would sell. Everything with him was always just so big. And I mean, I know he worked with WWE, but you guys had some good ones too, though. Really good announcers working the TV too. Shivani and Bobby Heenan. You guys had some.
Yeah. And another thing we would do, we would go to Tony Schiavone, and tell him things that we wanted him to say about us. Sure, yeah. And nobody was doing that back then. Yeah. So we didn't want him to be totally oblivious to thinking something that he didn't know anything about. Right. So when he was trying to explain things, he would go into a certain diatribe as, well, Brain, Harlem Heat got with me, and you know, they told me this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you're right.
we wanted it put out there our way and not just generically put out there, you know what I'm saying, where nobody really got it.
Right.
So that was a part of the package that we was trying to paint. So it worked, man. So that's what we were really proud about.
So I'll be the first to admit back then, though, man, I was a huge mark. I really loved what the NWO was doing. You had a short stint in the NWO too. Your idea or the company's? How you end up in the NWO?
Somebody else came up with that, man.
Somebody else
came up with that. And you remember that is when I had gotten injured and I was out for a while.
Yeah.
And when I came back,
and we're in. Yep.
I came back and somebody I can't remember who suggested. I can't remember. I just remember.
I think we can admit the NWO by then had become laughable, though. Everybody in the company was NWO at one point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it really blew up.
I guess. But like I said, when you ask me questions like that, I'm not looking at it like a fan at home watching television.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So whatever your ideas about it as a fan is one thing.
Right.
I don't watch I'm at the building. The only thing I watch, I'm pretty much getting ready to do what I got to do. I'm not watching the show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there might be 10 matches before I got to go out. Yeah. You know, I might sit in the dressing room and half-ass look at the monitor, but I don't watch the show. I just participate on the show.
Yeah. Now, I got to ask you, though. I got to ask you, though, you got to take me back for a minute, though. Auditions for a manager. How does that go? How do managers come in and audition for Harlem Heat? What goes on? I mean, like, what do they got to come into a room and do to audition for Harlem Heat?
I didn't see the auditions.
Oh, so they come in and they audition for whoever writes, like, creatively, because you said there were auditions for who was going to walk you guys out.
Right, exactly.
So what do they have them do? Have them come in and cut a promo, or like what do they have?
I guess.
I just never heard of auditions for a valet. Just sounds crazy, you know? I mean,
right.
So,
like I said, I don't know where this shit was coming from, but we didn't need. First of all, we didn't need a manager because we know how to talk.
Yeah, you guys were good.
We know how to talk.
Yeah.
So that's first and foremost. But I don't know if there was I don't know where the ideas and shit came from. Somebody thought that was a good look. We didn't want a man. And like I said, if Sherry wasn't employed there, you would have never seen us with a manager.
Yeah, you guys would have stuck to your guns on that. Yeah.
Right.
Now, were there guys when you got into wrestling, you know, and you don't strike me as a guy who's going to get bowled over and impressed by other guys, but were there guys when you came into the company that you looked at and kind of like said like, wow, like, yeah, I mean, like that's a template for like the kind of wrestler that I want to be, or did you try to emulate anybody, or did you have any? I've never been enthralled by another human being. No. So none of those guys.
No, I've never been enthralled by another human being. Me and my brother used to always look at other guys and say, I can't wait to get in the ring with them to make them look like they're going backwards.
Yeah.
That's what we used to say. Because I'm from a competitive family.
Yeah.
Everything with us is about competing. Everything with my whole upbringing and my neighborhood is about competing.
Right.
So we never in awe of anybody. Never in awe of anybody. We would look at people on television. We would look at stuff on matches on television and go, bro, we was in the ring with those guys, whether it be on WWE, whether it be on WCW or anything in between. We would look at each other and go, bro, I can't wait one day to get in the ring with guys. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that. It was like that with us. But no, like I said, once we became professional wrestlers, we always looked at ourselves like we can be as good as anybody in this business.
Yeah. We're the shit, damn it. We're here.
That's how we looked at it. And I ain't trying to be facetious or cocky or nothing like that.
Right.
That was just the conversations me and my brother had about. That's what we would talk about when sitting in our hotel at night.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about. Okay, tomorrow night we're gonna do this. I like the move that we did tonight, but I think it could be better, man. What if we did it this way and blah blah blah? Okay, let's try it tomorrow. Blah blah blah. It was always us against us.
Right. So
I've never been a fan, even though I'm a fan collectively, but now I'm at the same level as you.
Right. You're watching
so I don't look at you anymore.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So like I said, I ain't trying to be cocky, but that was just our mindset.
So you guys would come up to, so everything that you guys did in the match, like as far as like your moves, yeah, you guys worked that out with other tag teams prior to as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And who was the tag team that you really liked working with?
The thing is, we would always come up with stuff for the guys that we're working with to make them look better.
Right, right.
We would do things to make them look better, because if they look better, the match looks better.
Sure.
So we always, that's what Scott Casey always taught us.
Right. So back during your time in WCW, who was another tag team that you really loved working with? That
I love working with everybody.
Yeah, Steiners were good.
I love working with everybody.
Yeah.
I was ready. We challenged ourselves every night.
Yeah.
If we had a good match with the Steiners, I want to have a better match with them next time. Yeah. And I want to have a better one than that the time after that. And I want to have a better one than that the time after that.
Yeah.
Like I said, those are fan questions. I'm a professional.
Right.
And to be honest, I'm not trying to throw salt on what you're saying, but I don't have the same mentality as you.
Right.
Or anybody else that if I'm on their podcast, I can't answer fan questions. Right. I know a lot of wrestlers do, but everything to me and my brother was just business.
Business. Yeah. Yeah.
It was just business. Who'd you like working with? I like working with anybody. Put them in here because we're trying to challenge ourselves.
Yeah. Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. I don't think enough guys probably have that mentality. You know,
right.
I mean,
we kind of prided ourselves on, we want to have a good match with whoever it. I remember the night they put us in the ring with Sting and Randy Macho Man Savage. Yeah. And they were trying to get us to fail.
Yeah.
And we went out there and brought the house down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, brought the fucking house down. And I remember Paul Orndorff, God rest his soul.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Came back in the dressing room and gave him, because Paul used to always kind of take care of us, look out for us, rather. And he came back in the back and looked at us. He didn't say a word. And gave us the eye. And that's when we knew. Yeah. That's when we knew. And that's when they knew. We can't kill these guys off. Because every time you try to put us in a messed up position, we're going to take advantage of it. Because we were trained by the great Scott Casey.
Now, when you say a messed up position or wanted you to fail, what does that mean? They didn't want the outcome to be for you guys to win, or they wanted Sting and Macho to be put over?
They wanted. That's like I said. You're thinking like a fan again. Just follow me. Yeah. Okay. Just follow me.
Okay.
It ain't about who going over and all this other bullshit that you guys read in the cheat sheets. Okay.
Okay.
It ain't even about that bullshit. Not to a professional.
Right. Right.
Only to a selfish person. I don't give two shits about who go over. Right. What I give a damn about is what I look like in the match.
Right. Right. How it comes off to us.
How professional I look and how good this match looks. Right. Because the real people that know professional wrestling is going to look at that and go, oh, okay.
Yep. Yep.
The fan doesn't know what he's looking at.
Right. Right.
The real professional does.
Yep.
So that is my, that's who, like I said, like I made the comparison to a football team. They know who can play and who can't. And they know who better and who's not. They know what wide receiver should be starting and what running back should be starting. A lot of times it's because the guy's not dependable. So we're not going to start him. We'll keep him as a backup to make him hungry. See what I'm saying? So we were hungrier than they knew. So they give us a fucked up finish with 50,000 different things attached to it. And we already know what's up. So we're going to go out here and kill it. We're going to go out here and kill it and didn't miss one spot. Didn't miss one. And like I said, Paul Orndorff, he know what's up. That kind of bullshit goes on in professional wrestling. Because certain people got a problem with you. But you know, it is what's politics. It is what it is.
Sure.
But I'm not going to get caught up in your politics because you know what? I'm thinking about what I got to do as a professional.
Right, right.
So I'm not going to get emotional.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to keep that part of yourself out of the business, the emotional part. You almost have to detach. Yeah, you have to detach from it.
Yeah, because if I did, I end up hurting somebody over bullshit. It ain't worth it. You know,
so when
how I
somebody
get back,
says that they give you, so when someone says they give you a finish with all these different things attached to it, that's where the snag is right there. They're trying to throw a lot at you and say these guys are not going to be able to pull all this off.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you guys pull it all off, and then you kind of have them with their jaws on the floor.
It's like cake.
Yeah, like
It's
cake.
like cake. Like cake, baby. You don't know who you're messing with here, bro. I got a good memory.
Right. So does that mean good memory? So, but if you're involved with planning out the match with whoever it was, Sting and Macho Man, how do all those things get put into the match without your okay though? Do those guys get to do that because they're quote unquote legendary status?
Sting and Macho ain't got nothing to do with this.
So they don't put those moves in there either. All those false endings and all these.
No, they ain't got nothing to do with that. No, they ain't got nothing to do with that.
So somebody backstage puts all that in to try to put a speed bump in your way.
You got agents that put the matches together.
But so my question, I guess, would be, how is it advantageous for them to attach all that stuff and try to make you look bad, though? I mean, wouldn't even the regular fan at home be able to tell, though, like this match looks like shit? I mean, like
no,
really.
I never said anything about the match looking like shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the fans at home don't know what they're looking at.
Right. So it's all memorization. Like when they give you all that,
you know what I'm saying? The fans at home don't know what they're looking at. How the fans at home gonna go, oh, this look like shit.
Yeah.
I ain't said nothing about the match looking like shit.
You're just saying that they're giving you a lot to do. They're giving you a lot to do to try to make you to try to put a speed bump in you guys' career, so to speak.
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the impetus?
Like I said, bro. Like I said, we relish the challenge.
Right. You seem like it.
We like to challenge ourselves. I'm going to throw it right back in your face.
Yeah.
That is what me and my brother prided ourselves on. They tried that a lot of times. But we just throw it right back in your face. And they go, wow, can't kill these guys off.
So that's pretty, but yeah, it just boggles my mind why they would want to trip up a couple of guys like you.
That's professional wrestling, bro.
Man,
that's what I'm trying to explain to you. That's professional wrestling. You don't like your job, quit.
Right, right.
It's that simple.
I guess there is that.
You ever seen the movie Bad? You ever seen the movie Bad Boys?
Yeah, yeah.
When the captain came in and told Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, well, Captain, I don't want to be babysitting a girl or witness. You don't like your job, quit.
Right, right.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Go work somewhere else, but you're a detective. And I told you to protect this girl at your house. That's your job. Yeah. You don't like it, quit.
Right.
That's how me and my brother looked at professional wrestling.
Yeah. So you kind of got it.
It's professional wrestling, brother. It ain't romper room.
Right. Yeah. There's dirty tactics going on. Yeah.
It's professional wrestling.
Yeah. I imagine boxing is probably.
I mean, if you got people because they inundated with a situation because someone told them my election was stolen, so I'm gonna go attack the Capitol building. Professional wrestling don't surprise you?
Right, right. Yeah, right.
The human mind is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And you can make it believe any goddamn thing. And you got people that are in this fucking business that are not very wholesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
seriously.
Sad. Yeah. That's sad.
If you say you heard people do interviews about certain things, you've heard these stories a zillion times.
Yeah.
So what makes you think I'm so special?
Right.
I'm not.
Let me get your opinion on this. When Hulk Hogan went into the Wrestling Hall of Fame, and then they took him out for a while for using a racial slur. What were your feelings on that? Being a black man yourself, how did you feel about that?
Hogan is one of the coolest guys I've ever met.
Yeah.
And me, I'm like this. If every white man in America is castigated for using a racial slur, then none of them will have a fucking job.
Right. Right.
Let's get real.
Yeah.
I'm as real as it get.
Yeah.
And just because a person used a racial slur doesn't mean he's hateful of other people.
Right.
Now there's some that are, but you have to look at the situation. If you had a camera in my house, okay, over the years, and hear me say shit when I went off, you go, wow, I can't believe Stevie Ray saying some of the shit that he said. I'm just mad.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when we mad, racial stuff comes out. And the thing is, it's the people that can work on their bigotries, because we all have them. God puts them in all of us.
Sure.
It's the person that can repent and work on his bigotries instead of the person that doesn't go out and try to do something about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
difference.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think if I was in your house and heard Stevie Ray going off, I would curl up under the kitchen table and probably piss myself. I can't imagine what that must be like.
No, I'm just saying, I understand man's, shortcomings.
Fallible. Yeah, sure. We all are.
I understand that. I'm not going to want to condemn people or castigate people. It all depends on the context of everything and the situation.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Well, and in Hogan's defense, he was at that time, and I'm not to make excuses for him, but his son was incarcerated at the time. There was that tragedy, with his son with the car accident. He was getting divorced. He did have a lot of stress, and I don't want to make excuses for the guy.
No, I understand that. As a man, I understand.
We all crack under pressure. Right.
And you never know. You never know what's bearing down on a person within them.
Yeah, that's true. Right. We're all battling demons.
I'm not saying the malicious guy that's got everything going for him. Like, I'm looking at this videotape the other day of a police officer, a woman.
Yeah.
And because someone got in her way, she called them every kind of racial epithet, and she didn't know her camera was on taping her.
Yeah.
This is a police officer.
Yeah.
Female police officer.
Yep. It exists everywhere.
What kind of person wants that person that's showing implicit bias toward a group of people?
Right.
And you want that person to be the people that goes out and protect people on a daily basis.
Right. These are the people watching out for us. Yeah, supposedly.
Right. So that's, now, what do we say to that kind of person who's got a gun?
Right.
And authority.
Yeah. A badge to hide behind.
And qualified immunity.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, you see the difference?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. So,
when the horrible tragedy, and I went to a march here in my area and tried to get out and put the word out and do whatever I possibly could. When the horrible tragedy with George Floyd happens, where are you when that happens, and how does it impact you? How does it affect your heart when you hear the news and see the footage?
Oh man, it was.
To think that could happen in the 21st century in broad daylight in front of a group of people.
I think, and this is just being honest, I think the Donald Trump era gave certain people that's got implicit bias a mindset to go out and do things they wouldn't normally do.
Yeah.
When it comes to race, when it comes to certain things we've been seeing, because I never thought that I would ever see the day where a sitting president would ever not denounce a white nationalist. I never thought I would see something like that.
Yeah.
Especially if anybody knows anything about history.
Right.
How things became what they become in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, something ain't normal about what's going on in the United States right now. Something is not normal.
Say that again.
For people to sit there and watch a man die.
Yeah, pretty scary.
In the middle of the street, of which I don't even know how it got to that. How it got to that level.
I can't imagine.
A man gave a store a $20 bill. To this day, we don't know if it was fake or not. They said it was fake.
Yeah, but even a guilty man, the general public or the police or nobody has the right to condemn him to death, though, irregardless of what they've nabbed him for.
Well, I'm just saying, to get to the point where you got the guy pinned down to the ground.
Yeah.
Over a $20 bill.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, how does it get to that? When has the police ever came out for $20?
I know.
I mean, you got motherfuckers that got shot. I'm watching this.
Yeah.
Call the police. They're laying in the street. You know,
20 minutes later.
A crazy gun violence deal, and nobody shows up for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But all these police are out there for a guy that gave a $20 bill. The whole picture to me, something was wrong with that whole thing?
Well, apparently one of those
I don't
officers
understand it.
Apparently one of those officers there, the one that was doing most of the kneeling on his neck, I think had an axe to grind with him and had a previous beef with him, and I think that popped out in the testimony. But the scary thing is that the other cops that were all there helping him too, and the fact that people were on the sidewalk saying, you know, and the police are trained to be first responders. You can't tell that you've been on this guy cutting his oxygen off and he can't breathe for a long time, and he's telling you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you know you got qualified immunity, you don't care. Yeah. Because 99 times out of 100, you get off.
Yeah, and that puts you in a scary world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these police wouldn't do certain things if they knew they didn't have qualified immunity. Like putting you in jail for something you didn't even do anything, and they just throw you in jail because I can. Knowing that the DA is not going to bring charges against you, nothing like that, but it just fucked your day up. It might have fucked your life up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You might not have a job when you get out of jail. You might not have a wife. You might not have a house. You might not have nothing. Right. But they just messed your life up because I didn't give a shit about you. I got a problem with that, bro.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And the other scary thing is, I'm not really sure where you stand on all these gun laws, but I'm not so sure if everybody going around with a concealed carry is necessarily good, because I feel like we've just kind of gone back 150 years to the wild, wild west again, and everyone's just going to be pulling out guns and settling disputes, you know, in their own way.
Especially here in Texas. Yeah. I mean, the politicians are so corrupt here. It ain't funny. All of that here is just to get votes, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just to get votes, man. And that's the scary thing about politics, man. That's the real scary thing. They will do anything to keep power. Yeah. They will do anything. Like let people just run around with no gun license, this, that, and the other. And we're starting to see so many rash of crazy shootings from young people.
Yeah.
You know, usually the crazy guy used to be a guy in his 40s or something like that.
Yeah.
Now he's a teenager.
Yeah.
Scary. You don't know nothing. You just got here on Earth.
Yeah.
You ain't been here but 18 years. And now you crazy.
I think back when I went to school, and I would have been scared of what my parents would have done to me if I would have brought a weapon to school, much less, you know, I mean, everybody just duked everything out with their fists back in the day till somebody broke it up and then you moved on. You know, no, I would have never thought of pulling out a gun or a knife in school. God, perish the thought. I mean, I would have been terrified to do that.
Everything now, you look at the images, all the images about guns.
Yeah.
You look at every movie, you look at every disc, you know, every video, everything is about guns.
Yeah, it's certainly glamorized.
Think about it. Think about CSI.
Yeah.
They got 50,000 of them on TV.
Yeah.
Law and Order.
Yeah,
Law and Order. The FBI. They're all produced by the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all Dick Wolf. They all produced by the same guy.
Yeah. Who would have thought we'd be having a shout out to Dick Wolf?
I mean, I got nothing against him.
No,
I love the shows, but I'm just talking about I'm just talking about what are we talking about here, man?
Yeah, yeah. We're talking about violence being glamorized and promoted. Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, the shows are very good shows, very well written, but I'm just saying, every video back in the day, I used to talk about this with young people. I say all the videos, especially African American videos, the hip hop videos are all about guns, material things, you know, misogynistic things toward women, this, that, and the other. Now, people don't think that people don't think these things, these images have control of young people's mind. They are sadly mistaken.
They're detrimental to the culture.
Brother, that is why, because it makes, what people don't realize is, it does not make money for the African American communities.
Right, right.
It makes money for the corporations that's got the money behind it, that's pushing it.
Right, right.
If you understand what I'm saying.
I do, brother. I do, yeah. Now, here's something else I'd like to get your opinion about that doesn't have anything to do with wrestling. The infamous slap heard around the world at the Oscars. What'd you think of that? The Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. What'd you make of that? This is the thing, man. I did a podcast one night with four female women. Yeah. And this was the subject. Yeah. And I wanted to get a woman's perspective because I think a lot of times women are some of the smartest people in the world, but they can be some of the dumbest at the same time because their emotions get involved. Okay. I'm glad my wife's not within earshot, so I'll agree with you. I'm sure she's not around.
You know, you hear so many black women say, "Oh yeah, that was good." He was defending his wife and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like, okay, first of all, let's take things back.
Yeah.
In chronological order.
Right.
Chris Rock said that he didn't know that Jada Pinkett had alopecia.
Right.
Will Smith is an entertainer,
right.
one of the highest paid entertainers in the history of cinema.
Right.
Chris Rock is one of the top comedians of his generation.
Very popular.
Now, how is it that this man tells a joke and it pushes you to the point on national TV on the biggest night of your life, knowing the African-American plight of just being able to sit here with these people on a night like tonight?
Right.
It wasn't that long ago that just a few years ago, nobody of African-American descent was even thought about on the Oscars.
No, and they protested that, him and his wife. They didn't go because of that.
Okay, now you sitting down here.
Yeah.
Okay, with the people that really don't give two shits about you.
Right.
Instead of you turning that into something glorious.
Yeah.
You bring it down to the Source Awards.
Yeah. Yeah. You've demeaned it. Yeah. Yeah. You've cheapened it.
You bigger than that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You bigger than that. The last thing that people that's got, and that's people that are influential on a very high level need to do is have a beef with each other on the world stage.
Yeah.
So you just solidify what the people that really don't give a shit about your culture and what they say about us.
Right.
You just solidified it for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's bigger. It's bigger than what people think it is.
Sure. Yeah.
You are royalty. You are royalty in our communities, both of you. How do you get there?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? You don't get there, bro.
Right.
You don't get there over a joke.
Yeah.
And then people go, well, she got alopecia. I don't see no spots on her head. And it's still a joke.
Yeah.
You ain't special. Like I said on my podcast, when the last time Jada Pinkett did something or set it off? Yeah.
Other than being Tupac's friend.
The only reason you down here is because Will Smith down here. Other than that, your ass they wouldn't even let you in the door.
Well, I think watching it back though, I mean, at first, man, he was seated a little bit in front of her and he was laughing himself. And then I think he saw it. Then I think he saw that she wasn't digging it and he had to go do something, you know, because he was going to be in the
brother. You just curtailed what you saw.
Yeah.
But what I'm talking about is not the hyperbole of what we saw.
Right, right.
What I'm talking about, you bigger than that.
Yeah, much bigger. Yeah, and especially like you said, the biggest night of his life too.
That's how a child would react.
Yeah,
but not on that stage.
Right, right. That's not the time and place. Yeah.
Okay, your wife didn't like it. Big deal.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You insult my wife, I'm gonna pull you to the side in the back and go, look, brother.
To the side.
My wife didn't. Exactly. My wife didn't like that joke, bro.
Yeah, no more jokes.
Oh, man, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know, brother. I'm sorry. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Blah blah blah. It never got to the world. It's between me and you.
Right. Yeah.
But once you let the world in on it, then don't feel bad if they turn on you.
Right. Well, because now what's happened is now it's become a joke that probably everybody would have forgotten about probably 30 seconds later, and now it's etched in time. Now it's etched in time forever. And it does cheapen and taint his night. I mean, it taints the night for him.
And what do people think about you? What kind of weak, spineless, hypocrite are you?
Right.
And now you want to make an apology now because you got some things coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
I seen the day, I think he made some kind of, oh, I'm sorry. Why didn't you apologize that night? In front of everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I apologize to the deep of my dude. I'm trying to not do this because man, shut up. You and your old lady can go sit down on the bus somewhere, bro.
and then 20 minutes later, we're giving him an award, the biggest award of the night. You know, I mean, it's pretty crazy. You know, I mean,
like I say, brother, it was bigger than what people make it out to be.
Yeah.
Oh, she got upset, so he had to do something. It's bigger than that, man.
Yeah,
that's childish, man. When you at a certain level of height in the entertainment business, somewhere that most people can't even imagine being.
Right.
And then you lower yourself to like a jabroni. You just turn into a straight jabroni.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 2 seconds, I'm laughing, and then all of a sudden I gotta go up here and slap somebody.
Right.
Bro, over a dumb joke. Like you said, 30 seconds later, nobody would have even remembered.
No, nobody would.
Everybody thought it was funny, even him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and plus that's a tough gig, hosting the Oscars and trying to find material. And that happens to be a big tradition with the Oscars, is that usually the host does kind of bust the balls.
But you got to remember, he wasn't the host.
Oh, he didn't host, right?
No, he didn't host.
He was just out there.
They had the three females hosting.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he was just out there giving his commentary then, you know?
Yeah, he was just coming in to do his deal to give away.
But he's there to entertain people, though.
He was giving an award to. It had something to do with that documentary.
Yeah, animation. Or document. Yeah.
Something. It was a documentary, something like that. But anyway, he was just. But you know, by him being a comedian, he had to tell a couple of jokes.
He's got to entertain. He's there to entertain.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man!
And now you were always back in the wrestling, and it looks like you still are now. A very, very big guy. What was your upbringing like when you were a kid, though? Were you always big and muscular? I mean, even when you were young, or did you work on your physique as you got older, or were you always pretty big?
I started working out when I was like 15, 16 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I started working out.
Booker too, also about the same time.
No, my brother was only about 9 or 10 then. He was a kid. And my older brother gave me his old weight set. And I was about 15, 16 years old. And I started working out with it.
Yeah.
And then in the summertime, I would work on the sheetrock truck in the summertime, carrying heavy sheetrock.
Sure.
And that's when I started to build my body. My body started to build up then. You know, and then slowly but surely I got into a little bit more serious, a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Just like it was a progressive thing.
Yeah. What were your feelings back in the late 80s there? I think it was around the late 80s when the big steroid thing came out in the WWF. Did you think a lot of guys got railroaded there?
I never really thought about stuff like that, man. And that's what I was telling you before. I mean, people do what people want to do.
Yeah.
And I don't judge people on news articles and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't
give two shits. Follow his own path.
No, I'm saying I watch professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And if they were muscular guys, even better. So by Vince them getting into hot water over that kind of stuff, man, I don't even give it credence. Yeah. Who the hell is going to tell grown men what to do? And how you going to blame this man for what the grown man does?
Right.
That's just totally crazy to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a straight progressive. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. Right. I look at myself as a progressive.
Whatever pushes us forward.
Like most people do. Huh?
Yeah. Whatever pushes us forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think like other people do and judge people and all this kind of whatever happened then. Hey, better them than me. That's how I look at it because Vince got a good show. I like watching it, and that's all I care about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, bring on Dino Bravo, brother. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Canada's strongest man. Man. Now you're giving me goosebumps, man.
Rest in peace, Dino.
Goosebumps.
Rest in peace, the great Dino. Rest in peace, the great Dino Bravo. Right,
man.
One of the greats.
Oh God, man. That was my era, man. So I'm in love with these guys, man. And so many of those guys I met before I became anything in the business, because me and my brother and Ahmed Johnson, we would go down to the when WWF come into town or when WCW come into town. and they would let us in the back, and we would go talk to the wrestlers and stuff like that,
Yeah,
man.
cool.
Y'all some big guys, man, blah, blah, blah. We were nothing. We were grunts then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I still remember meeting so many of those guys, like the Warlord, the Barbarian,
yeah,
Owen Hart, Bret Hart.
Rest in peace, Owen Hart. Yeah,
Slick.
Yeah,
Butch. I mean, so many of those guys we met, man.
It's like a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, man. I mean, and then years later, I got to work with some of them and stuff. So
yeah.
I always look at things like this. If a man can get into it, he can get out of it.
Yeah. Now you mentioned earlier Paul Orndorff, and him being kind of like a mentor and a guy looking out for you guys. How do you mean that? What did Paul Orndorff offer to you guys when you guys would break?
He would always come to us and critique our matches, and he would always, come to us and, just the subtle things, the little things, looking out for you, like a coach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a coach. And we always respected him for that, man, because he was always an easy guy to talk to, laughing and talking and joking. And oh man, Paul was a good dude, man. He was a good dude, bro.
Yeah, one of the good ones.
I miss him, man. He's a good dude, man.
Yeah. Well, you said Hulk was too, man. And a lot of people get on and slam Hulk. Hulk comes off as a good guy to me too.
Hulk is the person that when he came in, they had him evaluate talent. Now, I've told this story on a few internet radio shows and some podcasts.
Yeah.
And he was evaluating talent. Then all of a sudden they wanted to give us a push. Yeah. Before that, we was going through, this, that, and the other, but so on and so forth. Just trying to get as much TV time as we could, just in case push came to shove and we wasn't going to be here anymore. So we was trying to get as much television time as we could. Then all of a sudden they want to give us the push and put the belt on us. We was like, where did this come from? Yeah. So somebody told us Hulk had vouched for us. I can't remember who it was. Hulk vouched for you guys. And we like, what? I'll never forget it. And Hulk came in. So we went and confronted him. We went and confronted Hulk, said, hey, man, can we talk to you? And he go, yeah, what's up, bro? I said, hey, we were told that you vouched for us. And he was like, I did. He was like, they asked me to come in and evaluate all the talent. And he said, I watch you guys. He said, I watch you on television. I watch you guys. And I asked him, why aren't these guys getting a push? They're the best tag team you got. So that's how it happened.
That's pretty high praise. I mean, coming from who's probably widely considered by most, the greatest wrestler of all time. I mean, as far as what he did for the business and propelling the business forward, that's pretty high praise.
That's how we end up getting a push. Because Hulk was like, man, this is the best tag team y'all got. Why aren't y'all giving these guys a push? Why you got them just putting these guys over and those guys over? These guys should be getting a push. They're the best you got. And that's when the whole thing took off.
I like to think as a fan, it went a little more like, let me tell you something, brother. You got to give these guys a chance, this Harlem Heat. Maybe not, though. I mean, I don't know. That's probably my fan.
I don't know. I'll never forget it, though. I'll never forget it. And
you must have seen a bunch of long-haired blonde guys like this throughout your whole career, right? That's all wrestling in, right?
Well, that's the thing. Me and Hulk, we got two things in common: motorcycles and cars. And that's what me and Hulk, I don't think we've ever had a wrestling conversation in our lives.
Yeah.
Whenever me and Hogan was together, nobody else was around.
Yeah.
We talked about cars and motorcycles.
Really?
That's it.
Yeah, I love the Hulk, man.
He was the kind of person I could talk to about, because most people don't know nothing about cars. Some might know a little bit about bikes, but I'm a real enthusiast. Yeah. So, oh my God, I remember, I really remember our conversations, man. I miss them, man, because it was time, because it was something that I love, is cars and motorcycles, and talking with somebody about it. And they know what you're talking about, man. That's a good feeling, man.
Well, he's such a big part. He's such a big part of my childhood, and to see some of those guys like Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior and Ravishing Rick Rude, and the list goes on of guys that have tragically passed away probably before their time. So Hulk is actually still there, you know what I mean? And it's still great to see one of my old school heroes, you know what I mean, still around. I mean, I remember the Saturday night's main event and trying to stay up and keep myself awake to watch it at 11:30.
That was
the big poses, I mean. That's my childhood right there. I mean,
that was the greatest, man. That was Saturday Night Main Events was the greatest, man.
Yeah, it really was. Hey, listen, man. I can sit here and talk to you. I can sit here and talk to you all night. I really appreciate the time. Being as I heavy here, though, I have to take this opportunity just once to bounce a promo off you. Can I give Stevie Ray a promo?
Yes.
All right, ready? Here we go. And
yes.
you tell me if you're intimidated afterwards. And be honest.
I can tell you that before, but go ahead.
Listen up, Stevie Ray. You think you're such a big man? Well, you step into Rexxx Ruger's world, and you'll find out you're just a little ant that's going to get crushed.
It needs work.
It needs work, yeah. But
it needs work.
I mean, but my podcast name, Rexxx Ruger, is a very nice homage to Lex Luger. You know.
Right. Another good friend of mine.
Yeah, another good friend of yours. Yeah. All right. Well, you know, I'm gonna let you change your underwear because you look like I terrified the hell out of you, man. So. Yeah,
you actually did. I was actually afraid something could be that terrifying.
I thought maybe you were gonna give me one back, and literally all you would have had to do was just give me a dirty look, and I would have been under the table right here.
I'm gonna be an ant, and I'm gonna get crushed. Yeah, that's really original. I think I heard that one about 50. I've heard about.
And I do the crush in there too.
Yeah, I've heard that analogy used about 50, 60 times. That's all. So it ain't too bad.
Not very. So you're saying a little bit of originality there.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man. You don't know how many. You have no idea how much I'm going to go around and tell people that I punked out Stevie Ray, but I'll never stand around you. I swear to God, I promise. Hey,
I get crushed like an ant.
Yeah. Hey, no fooling, buddy. You saw the pose, right? You saw it.
Yeah, I saw it.
I got nothing up top here, man.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw the attempt. Yeah, I saw it.
Listen, man, I can sit here and talk wrestling with you forever, man. You're such a great, gracious guy, man. I really appreciate all this time that you gave me tonight, man, dealing with my fucking
No problem, bro.
Yeah, it was great talking to you. Wish you all the best in the future, man. Good luck with your podcast. What's the name of yours again?
Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray. Every Monday and Tuesday, and sometimes Wednesdays, live on YouTube, Stevie Ray TV.
Awesome. I appreciate the time again tonight, sir, man. Thank you very much. The great Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat. I love you, brother. Thank you very much for doing it, brother.
Brother.
All right, take it easy, man. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
There you have it. The great Stevie Ray. Look at him. Man, that's one scary fella. Although you heard it right here on PodScum. Who terrified who? That's right. The son of glam punked out the man. I think I became the man. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. Very candid interview with the great Stevie Ray from WCW, Harlem Heat. You know him, you love him. You better be scared to shitless of him. And you better go tune into his podcast, Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray. Until I see you guys again next time on PodScum, this is Rexxx Ruger saying, see ya!